Welcome to another G4 Guitar Teacher Network Hangout. My name's David Hart, and today we're going to be doing our standard format, and that's where we ask questions of the guys who have joined today and just have a little bit of a chat about it, solve some problems, find some, do some brainstorming, find some solutions, whatever we can come up with. So what I'll do is I'll start with you, David, because you're familiar with the format. So you did send me through a question today. Do you want to ask that question in your own words, and then we'll work on it?
Oh, yeah. So I want to get back and revisit the Facebook marketing, the Facebook ads. I've been working Google AdWords for a while, and I want to get back into the Facebook as well. And looking at the Facebook ads, they've got this new power editor, which wasn't there last time I looked, and they've also moved away from this pay-per-click. And they have this new thing in which is this FCPM and paying by impressions, and I'm not quite sure what it means. And there's not very much not much documentation on the Facebook side about it, and none of the forums have about it at all. So I just wanted to open up to see if anybody had any information on that.
Okay, cool. So with Facebook, the CPM means a fixed cost per million. So in other words, you set the price of how many views that people are going to see. So for every 1,000 people, you might say, I'm willing to pay $10. I'm willing to pay $20 for every 1,000 people who see it.
Yep.
And what I've found with the different marketing, and perhaps that's what Facebook's leaning towards, is that leaving it to them is starting to become more and more powerful and more of a choice that people are going for. It doesn't mean that it's good for everybody, and it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be the only way to go or the way to go. What's generally happening is that they're using algorithms to find the right kind of people for you and to find people who are going to respond to your ads. But of course, they don't have all the information all the time. So even though they can get 1,000 people to your website, that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a subscriber out of it. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily getting a student out of it. So they don't know all that information. But it is a good starting point, and it is something where they will direct it towards people who they think are going to click on your ads, because what they want you to do is continue to do marketing with Facebook. So it's in their interest. They're working hard behind the scenes, so to speak, to make it work.
Right.
Yeah, I've got the advice down the line from people in the industry that I've spoken to who said that when it originally came out with AdWords and Facebook and these kind of mediums, you couldn't trust them to do the job, and that's because they were trying to work it out themselves. But it's now sort of tipped to the other point where it's more and more about trusting them, just sort of say, well, we know what you're looking for. So yeah, so I think it's a good way to go, and I think it's certainly worth testing.
Yeah.
So what's definitely worked for me is and I think I mentioned this in the email, is the fact that I've halved the cost for my own marketing through G4 to get a subscriber. It doesn't mean to necessarily get someone who comes on board, but it's to get a subscriber, and that's come through conversion marketing. So instead of getting clicks for the website, conversions. I should explain it, but do you understand that, David? The conversion marketing.
I'm getting into it. I've heard the term before, so maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, I don't myself. If you could explain a little.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll go through it. It's really good to know, because basically what happens is that when someone sees your ad, there are different processes. So one is that they see it, so you can get charged on being seen. The next one is to click on it, so you get charged on being clicked on, and then the next level is conversions. But you still get charged based on how many people see your ad. So you don't get charged per conversion. What they do, though, is that they're obviously trying to optimize your conversions to get you the best price possible. So how do they do that is the question. To track the conversion, what you need to do is have the tracking in your website. So I already have that set up for the guys who go through my marketing platform, because what happens is that they go to a thank you page once they filled out the form. It goes to a standard thank you page. I already have the Facebook code in there, but you can do it yourself as well. You can do it to your own Facebook pages. So they'll give you, when you go for conversion tracking, they will give you the pixel that you then go and put inside your website that they can then pick up on. But you actually put it on the page where they're going to go once they convert, so the thank you page after they filled in the form. So to do it on your own website, you need to have your own thank you form, and you need to have that set up yourself. So you're really going to have the whole process. So it is a bit more complicated, but you need to have every step. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just something to keep in mind. So people just revisit that, just to go over it again to revise it. What happens with the conversion is you will make you can choose on the Facebook advertising. You get to choose whether it's clicks, cost per 1,000, conversions, so forth. Choose conversions, and it will ask you to grab a pixel and put it into your website, so that Facebook then knows to detect that. But it has to go to the thank you page. So once they subscribe, so it basically has to end up where they want it, where the person's going to go to. That's really what it's looking for. So Facebook need to know, okay, what is a conversion for you? And sometimes a conversion is not necessarily somebody who fills in your form. It could be somebody who clicks on a link on your page and goes to another page. That could be someone who watches a video that you want them to watch. So there are different ways. A conversion is anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Any action.
Okay. So with that in mind, thinking about the Aweber add-on, so to speak, that Aweber is essentially controlled under your user ID and password, your account, yeah? So if anyone so a user comes into my website, fills out the yes, I'd like a copy of the G4 program, that ports them over to your site. It's nothing to do with mine.
Yes, in a sense, but what could happen is that if you want sorry, cut out a bit there. But if you want it to redirect to your thank you page, then all you have to do is send me the link of your thank you page.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can post it in there. Obviously, having your own Aweber is going to cost you a bit of money. Whether you want to pay that money, it's up to you. But it's.
But in order to get a conversion, there has to be a second to the site. They have to take an action to say, I'm more interested in just looking at a landing page. That's what we're saying. So wherever they go after that, maybe, as you said, click on a video, click on a second page, that trigger to say it's a conversion.
Exactly. Yeah. So anything you want them to do, they have to go somewhere. So whether it's to another page, to a video, filling in a subscription, because it's not the actual filling in of the subscription that acknowledges the conversion. It's where they go after they fill in the subscription. So if they filled in that subscription and didn't go anywhere, ended up staying on the same page, Facebook had no way of measuring that conversion.
Good. Okay. Excellent. Okay, that's really good. Okay, well, I think I'm going to push ahead with this FCEM and just look at website clicks just to test it for 4 weeks or so and see what happens, and maybe run as parallel one. I'll think about the landing page and the conversion page. How I'm going to do that. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. Look, it's getting more and more sophisticated as well, and keeping up with it is a full-time job, and that's why the whole network thing. This has been for me really what it's about is because I'm doing this full-time, and it's a full-time job for me to keep up with it. Let alone running a guitar school. There's just not enough time, not enough hours in the day to be managing 100 students and trying to keep up with it all. So that's really what I'm here for. So the more you can sort of tell me. So if you do learn things, it's not. I'm certainly not suggesting you just leave it all to me. What you want to do is learn things and then share it, which you do. You often send me little emails and ask great questions. So that way we're pooling our knowledge and learning much faster about how to do it. So, for instance, Paul's done the webinar. If any of you other guys want to do webinars, which I recommend because it helps you to gain exposure, you can send it out to your list and people can get a sample, get to know you, and it's something that you're doing that's advantageous over your competition. If you do something like that, then Paul can tell you how to do it. He's done it now. He knows all the steps and using Webinar Jam, and he's compiled the emails and the whole thing. So we've all just saved a whole bunch of time because Paul's put it together.
Very cool. Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's great. So Jim, have you got a question that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I was first off wondering if I have an instructional video of my own, how can I or can I put a link into the G4 webpage?
Yeah, absolutely. We can either, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can either embed it into a page, so it's right there. And with the new websites, we've just had this major upgrade. And with the new websites, what you can do is that you can do it through the Thrive Content Builder. So that means you don't actually have to go into the back end of the website, which is what you normally do. In other words, when you go to the web page, and you have to log in, so have you got any login details for your website yet?
Yeah, I believe so, sure. I've got everything.
Okay, fantastic. Let's do this now. Okay, let's just have a little bit of, I'm going to jump in to your website, Jim, and we'll just have a bit of a play around, and that way you can see some of the things it can do. So I'll just go, just give me 1 second.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so we'll go here. All right, so yours is Guitar Lessons Santa Clarita. How's Santa Clarita today? Is it good weather?
Yeah, not bad. Still a little bit warm today, but it's cooling down.
Yeah. Did you feel any of effect? I mean, you guys are not far from each other, by the way. David's down in Orange County.
Right.
Oh, so you're down in Lake Forest, David.
That's it, Jim. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I went to, I had a couple of years at Saddleback there, Mission Viejo.
Right.
Yeah. So I was down, I was in San Clemente for about 3 to 4 years, right after I got back from a 3-year stay in London. So I've been down there, and then I went up to UC Davis after Saddleback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
anyway.
cool. Yeah, I know Saddleback and Mission Viejo, and I know London as well. So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent.
One thing I think this is great because we've got these outstanding teachers in a G4 network, and as far as it goes right now, we're all spread out, so we can feel the support. You know, it's not like you're somebody next door. If I'm in a music store, you're not in the next studio. It's not. You know, I don't feel the competition. It's just all cooperation, which is wonderful.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
We get to collaborate without feeling any sort of sense of competition between each other.
Yeah, right. It's all collaboration and learning. Yeah.
Exactly, and anything we're doing is going to be constructive. You know, competition. You know, just to bring out the best in everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, Jim. We've and it just seems like every day some new development happens. I was just going to say quickly while you mentioned San Clemente, that's where I stayed when I was over there. Yeah, my cousins have got a place there, so yeah. And Del Mar, San Clemente Del Mar.
Very nice.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share now, and just so you guys can see what's going on. And looks like we're still finishing up some of the websites, but yours still needs a bit of work done on it, Jim. But we'll get onto that in the next day or two. So present, and hopefully you'll be able to see that in just a second. Just let me know when you can see Jim's webpage.
I got it.
Okay, excellent. So what happens here is that if you look up at the top, there it says Edit with Thrive Content Builder. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. So what we can do is we can click on that, and it will take us to basically it takes us to the web page. So we're still seeing the web page, but it's going to allow us to edit it and add elements to it very easily. So it's really meant for the person who doesn't want to be playing around with code and so forth. Easy drag and drop scenario. So down the right hand side of the page here, you can see there's all these different things that you can do. And what I suggest is just getting in there and playing with it. You can you can even make a new page and just use that page as your play around page. And to make a new page, by the way,
that's something I've done. That's something I did, Jim. You make a page and just make it private and a draft, and then you can it's just a sandbox. You can play around with it whatever you like.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be seen. Well, let's do that. I'll do that here for Jim. So under New, I can say I can make a new page there. So I'll just click on that. We'll go in and make a new page, and then we'll use that page as our sandbox. And I'm just going to call it test page. And I can edit the visibility of it too if I want it to password protected or private, but I'll just leave it open for the minute. We just make it easy so you guys can see it if you need to. So then I just publish the page, and then what I want to do is go back to the page by viewing the page. So I'll just click on there, and that'll take me back to the view page. And there you can see it's called test page.
Right.
Now, on the back end of it, there are some things that you do need to do on the back end, but for instance, if I don't want that test page bit there, the green test page bit, what I need to do is go back to the actual page and scroll to the bottom. And this is where you'll see the Thrive theme options. And the great thing here, Jim, is you'll be able to rewatch this video. So if you miss something, this will be on a replay, and so you can come back and have a look at it again. So these are Thrive themes options, and the top option there is page title, show or hide. So I'm going to select hide, and then I need to go back to the top and update it on the right hand side here. So that will now, if I go back and update this page, then that test page should disappear. There we go. So we don't have that heading anymore. So now what I want to do is go into the Thrive theme builder and start editing that page. I'm going to close out of there for a minute. Okay, so here it is. There's not much there now because we haven't put anything in, but over to the right hand side here, if I want to put some text in here, put a heading, what that does is just by clicking on there, or I can drag it, whatever, and then click on that, then I can type in my text. So I can just put in here, welcome to Santa Clarita. Okay, so there we go, and that's there. Now if I want to manipulate that text by centering it, then I've got the tools by clicking on it. Each time what you've got to do is you've got to click on the actual box, and then you've got the tools for that particular text. So there I can center it, and if I want to increase the size of the text, then I've got a font size here. I can just type in whatever size I want it to be, click enter, and that takes it up to that size. So very, very easy to add text. If I want to add more text, I just click the button again, creates another box. And if I want to add an image, I just click there, click add media, and then I can add whatever image I like. So maybe I want to add this image here, and so you can upload images. So therefore I've got that there, and again I can center it, and with this case I can even shrink it. So I've got here where I want to shrink it down, make it smaller.
That's cool. That's very cool.
It's easy, so easy. Yeah, it's a great feature. So that's perfect there. Now if you want to make columns, you can do that as well. Just remember that the tools of just about anything you can think of are on the right hand side. Because it is a content builder, it won't do everything for you that you can do in code, but it's going to do pretty well everything you need to do.
Right.
Right. So now I would upload something to YouTube and then embed that link somewhere on this page, or?
Exactly. So if you've got a YouTube, have you got the YouTube link yet, or are you just thinking about doing it?
Well, I actually do. I just finished it up today. Have you seen Saul Khan, the Khan Academy videos? Any of those?
Yes.
You have. Okay. So I always liked the fact that he had the Wacom, tablet writer, and I finally got one of those. So I did kind of his first music theory lesson right at the very beginning, with the C scale, A minor scale, just talking about the whole half-step routine.
Yep.
So it's done now, and I don't know. It's just like, well, could I do it better? And it took me a couple times, but so that was another question I had. Is there anybody or any way I can get sort of a slight critique before I go ahead and publish something like this?
Yep. Just hang on one sec. Yep, yes. What I'm going to do here, if you want to send the video through or post it in our Facebook group, yeah, we can comment. No problem at all. Yep.
Okay.
And the guys are great. They'll be kind. So
Okay.
yeah, give positive comments.
Yeah, the other thing as well, James, on that, Dave, if I can just interject, is when you look at the other YouTube sites everybody has, like on my YouTube site, I borrow videos from David for anybody else and post them on my YouTube site and just share them there. So it saves double doing things. So if you've got some theory lessons which are great, then I'll just pick them up and share them on my site. It saves me having to do it.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, if they're coming through, you know, it's hard not to, you know, I'd like to do cartwheels, but, you know, at the same time, it's just like, no, I've got to get the information, and I want to keep them very short, maybe 5 to 8 minutes total, and just have 1 or 2 points for any given video. So then they can go back to a certain video and go, okay, let me review that real quick, and not have a long video with a lot of information and then go, well, I missed that one part, where is it now? Because you know how hard it is to search when there's a lot of information sometimes.
Exactly, and that's what it's about. If you can create something that you see that is a bit of a gap, where you know we need that information, and if you what I really want is for you know each G4 teacher to become a kind of, you don't have to necessarily fit this box, but be a kind of a specialist in one area. So we know, hey, Jim's doing these theory videos, I know where to look. It just makes it easier to know where to go and find things. It's like Shane, let's go in the UK, he's just done a whole reading book. Have you seen that yet, David? Have you had a look at that?
Is this the bass one?
No, he's done the bass one, but also the same thing for guitar now.
No, I have not. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, check it out. It's now in the student downloads, and it's brilliant. He's just done a fantastic job. So yeah, that definitely will replace the G4 reading that we've had, because it's more comprehensive and it's based on the same idea. And he wants to do more, so we've talked about that as well. Because one of the things just on that quickly about the reading is that most reading texts, like standard Mel Bay and Hal Leonard's and all those things, they progress too quickly. There's not enough exercises to help young beginner readers.
Right.
They lose confidence. They're literally learning. It's like giving them a new ball every 10 minutes to juggle, and they're up to like 20 balls by page 5. So that's what we want to do is create exercises based around just the first 6 or 7 notes that they learn, and do lots of exercises. And that's what I said, Shane, if we can come up with books like that, that would be great. And monetize them as well, so he can sell them, because I want him to sometimes get some kind of reward for it. So that way you guys could say, well, here, this is the program, this is our normal reading, but I suggest you buy this book as well, which it might cost them $10 as a download, and you can then you've got all these reading exercises which will be great for really getting your reading up and running. And the same thing with anything that you guys have got ideas for, because this is what we're going to do, generate more ideas, and this will extend outside of your own students to the point where you can be selling this to a worldwide audience and through the G4 network. And that way you could, for example, Jim, if you produce some videos, that's great, put them up there, but if you produce a more extensive series of videos and a website, even a member site, then you can sell those, because people will pay. People will see, well, this is good, I like what here, and then the guys within the network of G4 can promote them as well and say, hey, buy these, because it's really good if you want more theory. So when they're teaching their classes, if they've got a student who wants to know more about particular topics to do with guitar, then you can send them to certain products, because we do it anyway. I send people to Amazon to buy certain guitar products, so having the options amongst our own guys is even better. Keep it in the family.
Yeah, so that brings me to my next question of the store on the web page, putting that together.
Yep. Well, what I'll do is I'll show you here now. And this will be where you can build your own store, and again we'll get ideas from each other as to how to build stores.
Okay.
In other words, I think, David, are you setting up Amazon? You already set up?
Yeah, mine's done. Yeah, it's kind of, you tweaked it a bit, but mine's done. I just want to start add things to it, but yeah.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and in Australia we have a company called Artist Guitars, and what they do is they give a commission for everything that's sold to the guys, and yeah, so I'll go into that more in a minute, but what I'll do is I'll just finish off explaining the website here so we can get that done, and then I'll come into some of those other things. So here on your website, if I want to add that video, here I've got this, it's called responsive video, and it's, where is it? I'll just scroll through so you can see how I found it. So it's on the third tier down, and so I can click on that again, or I can drag it, whatever, and then I click add video, and then in here it's asking for the video URL, and so I just grab the Satriani video there, and I can just paste that into there, and that I can also choose autoplay, so that means when people land on the page it'll automatically play without them having to press play. I can have it hide the YouTube logo. I can have it hide the player controls, which are good things to do because you don't want people clicking off your page. You want them to stay on your page. And if you hide those things, then they won't go off onto other pages into YouTube. So yeah, and hide related videos. So I'm going to click all those, see what we get. And you can even hide the video title bar if you want to give it your own idea. There's the autoplay. Hide the full screen if you want. It's up to you, but we've got that there. And so that's how it looks now. So you can see. So if I save those changes, and I now go to the test page and have a look, you can see the video now sits in there nicely with nothing around it.
Right.
So
beautiful.
Yep, that's
Very
what you
nice.
want. Yeah, they've really thought of everything, these guys, and so just hit play and away she goes, and that's it. So that's that. So yeah, video no problem, easy to do. What I suggest is a good thing for you guys to do is what I'm doing is have a weekly video. Just have almost like this is your TV channel. That'll bring people back to your site. They'll come back looking for a new lesson each week, and yeah, give them something, even if it's a 5-minute tip on doing something. Show them a riff of the week, or whatever you like. Just have your channel, because you will find people who will like it, and also your own students. It gives them more value because you're giving them a reason to come to your page. This could be, you could call this page your, Jim's TV, Jim's G4 TV, and every week throw a new show up. Bring guests, people who you know who play guitar. Get together, you two guys do a video together and talk. Do you know what I mean? Just have different guests. Keep it interesting for the viewer, whatever it takes.
Right. Good idea. Yeah, I started to put video lessons in newsletters now. Putting it here is a good idea as well.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, people are more and more into video these days. I know I prefer to learn things off videos. I prefer to see someone taking me through it. Even when I'm trying to code websites or do things, it's just much easier if I can find a video on it than having to read through the text, because your eyes get pretty tired after a while reading lots of text on a screen. So yeah, so that's that. There are other things, for instance, if you want to put a map in, table of contents, if you want to, even if you want to add some HTML, which you will want to do at times, and that, if you're getting like your PayPal links, for instance, if it's HTML and you want to paste that in here, or you can use the email link on PayPal as well. They're kind of things you can have. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys are you aware of PayPal's Pay Me option now? Yeah. No. So yeah, you can sign up for an account. Just what I'll do is I'll just go to that now. I'll switch out of this for now, and we'll come back to the main.
Before you leave his website, can I ask a question?
Yep, sure.
Good. When I'm on my website, I'm looking at it right now. I go to the dashboard in WordPress. I've got a bunch of warning messages sitting there about.
Okay, do me a screenshot and just send it to me, and then I'll just have a look at it. Yeah. Some of the warning messages are just clashes between the new.
I don't want to click through them. I just want to. Okay, I'll send you a link. I'll send a picture.
Yeah, some of them are just old widgets. Most of the old widgets in your website you don't need anymore, and I'm talking like So yeah. Okay. So I'll just close out of this and come back to you guys. Okay. So now I'll just find this pay me, and what it does, which is a lot of fun, is that it allows you to create a link that will make it easy for someone to pay you any amount of money almost instantly. So for instance, what I'll do, and I'll share again just so that you guys can see it. The day for screen sharing. Okay, so I'll just start the screen share again, and then I'm going to go. So I don't know, can you see that now? The screen again?
Yep.
Okay, so the link that I've got is called PayPal.me, and then /G4 guitar, and then whatever number I put in there. At the moment, I've got the number 89. If I click on that, it'll go to a pay button for $89. Simple as that. Now, if you leave the amount off, I think it'll allow you to have anything there. So that way, what happens is that they can put in the amount that they want to pay. So if they want to pay you $100, they can put it in. So that's for a nominal amount. So it's really easy just to sort of say, okay, what does someone need to pay me? They have to pay me $250. I'll just put 250 there, and you just send them that link, and that's what they get, and then they can pay you straight on that. And you can, easily set that up on your website as well. Just create options where you have that code behind a button. So if we went back to, say, Jim's website here, I'll just close out of this for a second. So on Jim's website, on the test page, I could put in here pay, $250, and then on that, and I can do that on the Thrive Builder as well, but I'm just using this while we've got it here. And then I just put the code in there with the 250, and open link in a new window, and so now that should appear on the page, and people what they will see is pay $250, and then when they click on it, so I'll just go to the test page so we can see it. So when they go on to this test page, there it is down the bottom there. It's pretty small, but it's there. Pay $250. When they click on that there, it takes them to that button, $250. So you can see how easy it is to create buttons. You don't have to go into your PayPal account and set things up. You need your PayPal account for certain things, obviously. You need it for subscriptions. This is not a subscription. You need it for creating thank you pages. So if someone purchases the G4 method or enrolls into your course, you don't want to just to pay that nothing. This is more for people who just need to pay certain amounts without any further follow-up. Okay.
Right. Okay. So I'm thinking now with some months having 5 weeks in them. Okay. So for example, with introductory students, keeping them at the say $25 per lesson. Some months will be 100. Some months will be 125. So you could have just that button for 100 and have a button for 125 and say, oh yeah, it's a 5-week. Because I collect tuition up front, obviously, for the next month. I hope everybody else does that as well. So that would solve that problem right there.
Yeah, that if you were going to do it that way, that could help that. What we suggest generally at G4 is subscription. Have a subscription where you charge, say, $99 a month. Some months they'll get 5 lessons. That's a bonus. But what you'll find is that over the year it sort of evens out, and you're better off anyway because you're not having to sort of track lessons all the time. And as you grow, I always talk about setting up to succeed, so that you're in a position where your business can grow, and you need systems in place. You notice we talk a lot about the E-Myth and so forth in the group. So having systems in place that allow you to grow. You want your payments automated. It's like you guys pay me. I don't have to come chasing you for money each month or send you invoices or do anything. Once you set up the subscription, it's done. And that's what you want. And even though you may miss out on a few students, Dave, how do you find it? You've got most of your students on subscriptions, have you?
At the moment, I've got about 50–60%. I've still got some legacy ones, but generally speaking, all the new ones are going over. I've got very few people bulk about it. I've got a couple, but eventually I'll come to a point where I just push everybody, say it's that or nothing, and I can afford to lose them if I don't have that.
Yeah, it just make things flow smoothly. But I understand in the early stages, you don't need to put that pressure on, because you obviously got to consider your cash flow, and also if you've had previous students before G4 and you create new policies, you don't want to just sort of say, hey, my way or the highway. These people have supported, been there for you, so you want to be flexible with them as well. So, yeah.
Sure, and then on the other side of the coin, no makeup lessons, right? No
makeup lessons was my policy for a long time, but at the same time, so when you make something your policy, policies should be, in my opinion, they should serve everybody. So a policy is something that if I allow people to do makeups, what I end up with, what I'm really doing is creating a policy that rewards the worst students. In other words, the students who don't turn up every week. And meanwhile, the students who turn up every week are being punished, because the students who what happens is you have to raise the price to pay for everyone. It's like taxes. The people who get punished the most with tax, when the tax goes up, are the people who are the honest ones that are paying the tax. The tax dodgers are the ones who are, the option doesn't make any difference, but because they're dodging the tax, which is what's happened in Greece, is that, most people have been dodging the tax system, so now the honest taxpayers of Greece are being severely punished as a result. Everyone has been sort of copped it. So the idea is, I'm very democratic in this sense, where it's like, okay, if you are going to miss a lesson once a month, that means that I have to raise the fees for everybody. Otherwise, I'm the one who pays for it. I'm paid for your missed lessons, because it's still your time, Jim. You're still there. It's still your business. And if that person is, you only have so many seats available. Again, think of it in terms of a band. A band may have a room with 100 seats, and if they have to refund 20 of those seats, then they're going to pay for that. They're going to lose 20% of their income, or they have to charge everyone a bit more to cover it. So it becomes unfair. So let's not reward those people. Let's reward the students who are consistent and come every week.
Right. Okay.
Again, you do need to be flexible with your policies. So what I do is what I did was took the approach that there's my policy, no makeups. But when people said to me, oh, but it was really sick, and I said, look, I understand. Look, this time, no problem. I'll make it up for you. Normally, as you understand the policy, and people feel that you're being great, you're doing a good thing, you're doing them a favour, you're helping them out. But when it's the other way, when your policy is, take a makeup whenever you feel like it, and you start to resent that, it becomes a problem. Yeah.
Right. No, I've been there, done that. I mean, in my policy sheet, I would give them one makeup per month, and I would have the occasional student. They do the 3 lessons, then they take one off. They do 3, take one off, and it's just like, wait a minute,
There's a pattern here.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah. There's a story about, and I read this in, I think, a Malcolm Gladwell book, but a story about a kindergarten where they had a policy that you had to pick up your kids on time, otherwise it was unfair on the teachers or the providers there to look after the kids. And so what was happening is that mothers were turning up late and whatever. So what they did is they implemented a fine where if you turned up late, you got fined. And what happened was the rate of late mothers went up after they implemented the fine. And the reason was, this is something a bit funny, but the reason was that they now thought it was okay as long as they paid the fine. Oh, it's okay, $5 and you can get away with it. So your policies matter, and your policies make a difference to the success of your school in the long run.
Okay.
It really does, and I love talking about policies because it really does. Everything comes back to your policies. The way that your business, the success of your business really will come down to your policies. That's where they're the rules of the game that you've set. And it's surprising, but you'll talk to a lot of small business owners, and they'll be frustrated or angry with customers and this and that and the other. But it's your business. They're your policies. They're your rules. You decide.
as you know, since the collapse in 2007, 2008, whatever, all the students that were in it for the long haul, right? The good students, those were the guys that stayed. And my
Yes.
life became very enjoyable. I felt a lot of growth. We're playing good things. We're resolving altered chords. I'm just like, yeah, this is great. Not much money though, but I was really content with the other side of things.
It was really, yeah, and it's good because it was a shake-up, and it
Right.
really, you ended up with the students who were going to hang on no matter what. They were
Right.
loyal. Yeah.
Right.
And so building a business, really what you're trying to do right from the start is grow a business based on those kind of students right from the beginning. You want them long-term loyal. It's the same for me. If I've got to keep, if there's certain teachers where I've got to really convince them of the merits of being part of G4, I realize they're not right for us, and so I'm not going to keep, I don't chase them. I really have a policy. I'm not going to chase you. I'm available for you guys. The more you want me, the more I'll be there for you. But if I have to chase you, you probably won't hear from me. Yeah. So a great example, and if you haven't read the book, great by choice, but a great example that they use in that book, and you hear in many business books, is Southwest Airlines in the US, and it's probably by many accounts the most successful business in the world ever. And what they did is they were the only airline to make a profit in post 9/11. And when I think several airlines in the US went broke at that point. Almost every single airline didn't make a profit for the next 10 years. Some of them are only just recovering now, whereas Southwest Airlines have made a profit in every year since they started, which was back in the 70s, I think. And the reason for that is very simple. They have very clear policies, and they stick to their policies.
Okay.
And I mean they're obviously good policies as well. You've got to have the right policy. But but just like you said there about your loyal students, Southwest built loyal customers. In fact, their customers are so loyal that in 2001, 2002, people were buying flights on Southwest Airlines just because they didn't want to see them go broke. They wanted to make sure that they survived. Their loyal customers were buying flights, flying nowhere for any good reason, just to enjoy. Yeah. So that's loyalty. That's loyalty. Okay.
That's great.
And I think it really comes down to looking after your good students. Do your policies look after your good students? That's the question that you ask yourself. Are they designed for my good students, or are they designed for my bad students? Who's winning on this policy? And if your good students are winning, it's the right policy. If your bad students are winning, which is make-ups, it's not a good policy.
Right.
Okay, so what was I going to talk about? There was something there that I was going to touch on. Completely eluded me now. So let me just ask, in regards to, well, David, in regards to your marketing, where are you having the best results?
I've got to say, so far, it's between probably Thumbtack and Google AdWords. Literally, I'm in a dry spell. I haven't had an inquiry for about 8 weeks.
Okay. Yep.
And I think it's summer period and my activity level, but that's I'm just trying to pull up some stats and let you know. But pretty much that's where it sits.
Yep. Okay. Cool. And I think in the US more so than Australia, I'm not sure. The holiday periods seem to be a bit drier for you guys than us.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just, I think a lot of kids go on school camps and things. Is that right? Like holiday camps?
Basically all the kids are back at school at the moment, so they all gone back. Now whether or not it's the parents waiting to see what they're going to do with them, for example, this time last year, let's have a look. This time last year, so let's see, September. So August this year, I've had no students. August last year I had one. So then we went into September, October, November. last year 3, 3, and 3, so 9 students in 3 months. So in September so far I've had 2, so it's picking up a little bit. If I can get to October, November with 3, then it starts to go over the hill in the new year.
Okay, cool. Well, to put it in perspective, Ken in Oxnard, he did really well for right up until I think the beginning of this month, and then he said it went quiet.
Right.
Of the week. So that may be because school starts. Is that right?
School starts, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, so yeah. So and the good thing is that I'll understand the American school system, because in Japan, Mia will be on the American system because she'll be at an international school there. So yeah, I'll know where you're at. The idea with marketing and these spots, it doesn't really matter the quiet times. We can get a bit worried, a bit concerned that our marketing's not working, but it really is an annual thing. You have to look over the year, because things are seasonal, and your marketing will still be working. And I know this here in Cairns, which is a major tourist hub. In the summer, it's really hot here, and not a lot of people come here in the summer, because down south the weather's beautiful, and our summer here, it's just not the kind of place you want to be. It's just very uncomfortable. But the winters here are beautiful. The temperature is just perfect. Every day is around 25 degrees C, which I guess is what it's like on the Mexican border there in your in your Christmas time. So it's very nice, very comfortable. So people come here, and in Australia, obviously down south, it's cold, so they escape the cold to come up here to what's a beautiful temperature. So the main tourist time here is in that time of year, but the success in their tourist season depends on the marketing that they do all year round. They can't just market, even though they do boost their marketing at certain times of the year. If they didn't market all year round, as they know here, the tourist board, they know that they have to do it at the whole year round to make it work. So it's the same thing with you. You need to keep those. So I know in the case of you, David, you've got a full-time job which you're wrapping up at the end of the year, but your situation is such that do you get many flyers out? Do you get a chance to?
Yeah, I'm trying personally. I'm trying to get between 150 and 200 flyers a day done before I go to the office. So about 1,000 a week.
Okay, all right. Which should land you about 1 student a week. So if it's not working at the moment, a bit of a dry spell. Maybe it's the California. Maybe there's people want to be on the beach. I'm not sure.
I mean, the other thing as well, which is probably systemic of the dry spell, is Thumbtack over the last week, which I've done very well at. I've had 0 inquiries in Thumbtack, which is incredibly unusual.
Yeah. Have you got an election coming up as well in the US?
Yes, election/circus. Yeah.
Circus. That's it. The Donald Trump circus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, it's traditionally whenever there's an election coming up, people tend to get nervous or just take their attention. That it's a combination of media entertainment, election entertainment, if you like, and worry. People thinking, and people just rallying for their own side, whatever it is. So you can expect things to slow down during that period as people want to wait and see what happens. Once the results out, they have the party, then things often get good for a while. Sometimes they'll be good for a long while, depending on the feeling and the climate. So keep that in mind. My parents have been in business ever since I was a kid. Every time an election came up, there was always just things went dead. It was just the way it was.
Yeah.
When is the election?
So to answer your question directly, I've got basically between Google, Thumbtack, and flyers roughly 20% apiece. So 60% is coming from those 3 sources, and they're pretty evenly split.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so are there any? We're almost out of time. Are there any last questions? Jim, did you have any other questions you wanted to ask?
No, I'm good for now. Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there, and thanks, guys. And I'll be here same time, same channel next week.
Yeah, talk to you then. This time is good. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Yeah, no, it's good. So anytime, yeah, I'll be here every Friday. So as soon as I know someone's here, I'll be here.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Right.
Nice to meet you. Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.